Back in December, I reviewed the OVA series of Oh My Goddess and gave it a recommendation for its humor, characters, and a convincing romance between the two main characters. Unlike fucking Love Hina. So along the lines, I also found the motion picture of Oh My Goddess, which is now back to being renamed Ah My Goddess. Surprisingly, this movie does not follow the continuity of the OVA series. Instead, it follows more along the lines of the manga. Proof of this is with two already established supporting characters that were in the series but not introduced at all in the OVAs whatsoever. Those two characters are Banpei RX, a robot servant that only has about less than 10 seconds of screen time in this film, and Piorth, another goddess who's in charge of a computer system called Yggdrasil, and she plays a major role in the film's plot. However, despite not being completely familiar with these characters, it still hasn't ruined my viewing experience with this film. Oh My Goddess, the movie, is a 100-minute motion picture released back in 2000. It's been about 3 spring seasons since Goddess Belldandy came to be on Earth in Keiichi Morisato's life. Now during that same night, Celestine, a former mentor of Belldandy's that was imprisoned long ago in the moon, has broken free. However, he doesn't return with good intentions. He gives Belldandy selective amnesia to make her forget about her memories of Keiichi, and he plants a virus within her and the Yggdrasil network. So Keiichi, Erd, and Skuld have to find out why Celestine erased Belldandy's memories and try to get them back, while Piorth has to fight off the virus infected within the Heaven systems. It's an action, romance, drama film with some elements of comic relief present. However, the comic relief quickly tones completely down to 0% and focuses more on the dramatic elements as the plot progresses. So if people appreciate Oh My Goddess more for its comedy, are probably going to be just a little bit disappointed with this film. But anyways, I want to focus on the two antagonists in the film, Celestine and Morgan, who are both exclusive to the movie. Celestine is your sympathetic antagonist who, while as a god himself, has a grudge against other gods and the system he follows, because people on Earth are suffering all the time, and the gods don't do shit about it. So the villain's grandmaster plan to destroy the current world and replace it with another free of suffering. So yeah, his sympathy card kinda drops when it reaches up to that point, which is probably for the best. Because I don't want to believe that the villains are in the right 100%, no matter how reasonable their actions are. But I do agree with him on one thing. The Gate of Judgment sucks. See, what it is, it's a plot device that is to test the relationships of beings from two different planes of existence or worlds to see if their love is truly pure. If the slightest amount of doubt is put into either of the two members of the couple as they pass through it, they will be separated for the rest of their lives. Morgan, a fairy princess and secondary antagonist to this film, had to learn this the hard way. And of course, it does get utilized at the end of the film for our protagonists, Keiichi and Belldandy. Yeah, I get it. I get it, writers. I get that Belldandy and Keiichi are pure and made for each other. I really do. Right now, it feels kind of throat-shoving at what you're doing at this point. But other than that, the film was steadily paced, and there were very little dull moments found in the film. The art and animation is still done by Studio AIC, and the film style mostly resembles Tenchi Forever, another film I liked. The animation is definitely on a pretty high quality level, displaying some really interesting highlights of animation, such as a couple of motocross driving scenes, and seeing what the heavens look like as well as how it works. Apparently some of the operators' harps are used like computers. Pretty cool to look at. And there are times that the animation is a bit on the limited side, but it's few and far in between. I do want to point out that while all the character designs are consistent, and even though the manga, some of the designs did change over the years, the character design that changed the most from my experience with the OVA is Keiichi Morisato's. He's got a different haircut, and he looks more mature than he did in the OVA series, which is a plus. He actually kind of looks cool. in comparison to his OVA counterpart. Because this was a Geneon licensed film and it wasn't licensed by Animego, a completely different dubbing cast was used for this film. Sherry Lynn, who is better known for voicing Sasami in the Tenchi series, voices Scald. Antonio Oliver voices Keiichi Morisato, and Steve Bloom is the voice of Celestine. That's just a small amount of the VA changes, and even though I admit when a voice actors change from show to show, I do have to make some adjustments. However, in this case, probably because I used to watch a lot of Geneon shows in the past and was very familiar with the voice actors already, I got used to it very quickly, and I thought they captured the same characterizations from the OVA dub. I also want to note, sound-wise, that Belle Dandy sings in this anime. That's actually one of the running themes in the plot. The song she sings is pretty good, but it didn't wow me all that much, except for the end of the film where the other characters chime in. So overall, if anyone is somewhat familiar with Oh My Goddess, and by that I mean knows about it, but has only seen little of the mangas, OVAs, and or TV shows, but wants to see more, you could probably jump into this movie anytime. Again, I don't know much of P-Orth outside of her actions in this film, but I was still able to follow the story pretty well regardless. The story's okay, the animation's wonderful, and, well, the characters are pretty solid as they were in the OVAs. Of course, it's a recommendation to not only the obvious Oh My God fans, but to the newer ones who are a little curious about the series. That's all I have to say. I'm probably going to make another preview video before I continue on with more reviews. And with that said, this is Darkscream217 signing out.